Hey everyone. So I thought I'd try going live for once, and see how that goes because if I wanted to do shows, I might do them live. But I wanted to relate story to you guys that actually happened to me Sunday morning, this past Sunday morning. Um, and why I bought a gun, why I own a gun, and why I do support gun ownership. There is a caveat in that, and I'll get to it after the story. Um, so, for those of you that may not know, um, I do have a bunch of physical disabilities, and it makes life a little difficult. I'm not able to work a regular job. I can't stand for like more than like 2 or 3 hours without my legs swelling up and being painful. Um, I can't sit up for very long um, because I have severe sciatica. There's problems with my hands. So I have a lot of problems holding down a regular job. And what I do supplement my disability is that I deliver newspapers. It's one of the few jobs I can do. Um, I can get it done within a few hours, and then I can go home and take the rest of the day to recover. So, keeping that in mind, I am out in the very early hours, 7 days a week, and driving around by myself. Now, Pasco County, I don't know if you guys have ever heard of Live PD, but they used to film here in Pasco County. And if you look that up on YouTube, you can get an idea of the type of people that live in Trashville, USA, I'm going to call it. Um, Now, for the most part, my routes are pretty. They're not in a bad part of town, but it doesn't mean that just because you live in a good part of town, bad people can't come around. Um, so one of the main reasons that I ended up buying a gun is because one night I had a car following me and following me and following me for blocks and blocks and blocks. Um, the problem is, at night, the sheriff's office here, kind of a joke, really kind of a joke. I literally had a sheriff's deputy tell me that a valet key only opens a car door, it doesn't start a car. So what does a valet do? Open your car door and push your car to you? You know, it's like if you're that dumb about that, um, you know, and you're supposed to have a college education. I mean, how stupid are you about other things, you know? So, in some respects, the sheriff's office really is a joke. I literally saw a guy run up on a street trying to kill a girl. I call 911 and I'm like, yo, attempted murder. Hello, get somebody here. 15 minutes, I'm on the phone with dispatch and there's still no cop there by the time the guy peels out and just disappears. The girl had to run into a store. The guy finally peels out, disappears. 15 minutes, I was on the phone with 911. I'm like, this guy just tried to kill this girl. I go like 2 blocks down and there's 4 cops that pulled over a car at Wawa, which is the gas station down here. I'm like, really? Not one of you could break off for an attempted murder. So I don't really hold out a lot of hope for the sheriff's department or any police department down here, um, which is another reason why in the middle of the night you point a gun at somebody and they'll pretty much back the fuck off. So this is one of the reasons why I bought a gun, because if something were to happen, the police are not going to get there fast enough. So I have to defend myself. So I was doing this trailer park, and it's a 55 and over trailer park. And there's this main street that kind of runs like, I would say like the trailer park, I wouldn't say it runs through the middle of it, but the trailer park is stationed on either side of the street. Like half the trailer park, they have like a bunch of like, okay, so say this is like the street, right? It has like streets running up this way and streets running up that way. And in the middle of it on one side is their community center. So I did the trailer park, no problem. And I was going down. Now there's a street that runs down the left side of the community center and a street that runs down the right side of the community center. So as I was driving down the street, about like 5:30 in the morning, as I was driving down the street on the right side of the community center, I saw this blonde woman, long frizzy hair. She was wearing a blue tank top, some jean shorts, and like some sandals. And she was like at the car line. She was like, clear enough I could see her, no problem. But she was like against the cars. And I saw her, but I'm like on the opposite side of where she is. So I'm driving down the street, no problem. I see you, no big deal, whatever. I go down that street, I throw my papers, I come back up. She's like in the middle of the fucking street and she's like going like, this to me. And I'm like, bitch, if you think I'm going to fucking stop for anybody that is not a goddamn cop at fucking any hour of the morning, you are out of your fucking mind. So I try to go around her and she like moves over like in front of my car. So I blare my horn at her and I put on some speed and I go around her. I'm like, she was saying something, but I had my music on, so I didn't hear what she was saying. But it's like, first of all, if you're trying to tell us, if you think I'm going too fast and you want me to slow down, why the fuck are you going to walk out in front of my car? If you think I'm going too fast, don't you think I'm going to fucking hit you? Aren't you afraid I'm going to hit you? If you think I don't know what she was saying. But the first thing is she was too young for 55 and older park. So I don't know what she was doing around there. She was out there all by herself. I don't know what she was doing around there, but she was not 55 and older. Okay. She looked like to be about 40. And even in these 55 and older parks, they usually don't allow 40. They only usually allow like 45 and older if one of the other people are 55. So, I mean, it's just like, I don't think that this park allows that, but she was still too young to be in that park anyway. So I don't know what she was doing. So anyway, I had to cross over that main street and do a street on the other side. I come up, she's in the middle of that main street. Let's call it Sylvan Avenue. Okay. She's standing in the middle of Sylvan Avenue and she got one of her sandals off. And I'm like, bitch, you throw that sandal at me, you are fucking done. I will mow you the fuck down. And so she's still yelling at something. And she's like pointing like behind her at the clubhouse. And I'm like, I don't know if she's like asking me something about the club. She's yelling about the clubhouse or something. I'm thinking to myself, bitch, do I look like I'm old enough to live here? What? I don't know what she's yelling because I still have my music on. I don't know what she's yelling and I ain't gonna fucking stop. So as I'm like going around, I have to be in the wrong lane to go around her. As I'm going around her, I'm like yelling at her, get the fuck out of the road. What the fuck is wrong with you? You on fucking drugs? So I go around her, I go down another street that I have to go down. Okay. And still on the opposite side of the street from the sit still. It's still on the opposite side of the street from the clubhouse. Okay. So I go down that street. I do that street. And at the very end of that street, I stop. I go to my purse because it's Sunday, so it's like really crowded in my car. I don't have enough room in there for my purse. I had it in back. So I had to pop open my trunk, get out of my car, pop open my trunk, and I took my gun out because it was in my purse. Usually it's in the console, but I haven't used it for a while. And, well, I shouldn't say used it for a while. I've never used my gun outside of a gun range. But it used to always be. But sometimes I'll forget to lock my car. Duh, I know. Thankfully, I have never had anybody steal anything from my car. My apartment community isn't that bad. But I just decided every night I'm just taking the fucking gun out and just taking it with me. So it was in my purse. So I had to get out, go to the back, take my out. I took it out of the holster and I put it on the dashboard because I'm like, I don't know what this fucking chick's problem is, but she's jumping. She's jumped in front of my car twice. She's had a fucking sandal off like she's gonna fucking do something with that shit. I don't know what she was doing. So I'm like, no, not fucking even playing. So then I have to go across like Sylvan and I have to go down that other street that's on the other side of the clubhouse. So as I'm crossing over, I see her. She's standing directly in front of like the front doors of this clubhouse. And I'm like, and I'm watching her, she watching me, and I'm like, you better stay the fuck over there, Blondie. I am not in the goddamn mood for this shit. So I go down that street, I come up, and I'm watching for her because there's there's a parking lot. You have to kind of like go through the parking lot to go down the street. It's set up really weird. So I'm watching the parking lot to see if she's gonna pop out again. And she wasn't there. And I looked over at the clubhouse and she wasn't there. And I'm like, because there were cars parked on the other side where I first saw her, and I'm like, maybe she got back in her fucking car, and I don't know. I don't know if one of those were her cars, but that's where I first saw her. So I'm like, maybe she got in her fucking car. I don't know. So anyway, I didn't see her. So I crossed back over Sylvan, and I do the last street that I had to do in that trailer park. It's on that other side. So I go all the way down that street, throw the last paper, turn around, come back. So when I get to the stop sign at the corner, I look this way, I look that way. And as soon as I look this way, that bitch was right at my fucking passenger window. I freaked. It's like, for me, because I hadn't seen her, I thought she was gone. For me, that's like seeing the fucking Ring girl. You know the movie, The Ring? That's like seeing the Ring girl outside your fucking window. I freaked the fuck out because she was that close to my fucking car. I grabbed that fucking gun off my dashboard and I pointed it out the window. Now, this gun has a laser fucking target. That laser fucking target was right on her fucking forehead. And I said, bitch, you get any closer, you're gonna fucking die tonight. And she was still yelling, but I had my music on. I didn't hear her. And I said, get the fuck away from my car. And she didn't move. Now, you're probably saying, well, you could have just gone. This bitch had already tried to jump in front of my car 2 times. I didn't know what she was going to fucking do. And my car was, so I stepped out because she's not moving. I have the gun on her. She's still not moving. So I'm like, fuck this. So I got out of my car, slammed into my, it was not smart. It's not smart. You don't have to tell me it's not smart. I put my car into park. I opened my door and I had my gun. I'm right-handed, so it was in the other hand. But I had my gun on the roof pointed dead at her. And I said, bitch, step away. And she took 1 step closer to my car and I fired. But I fired 2 inches to the side of her head. Now understand this. She's about the length of a Toyota Corolla, because that's my car. She's the length of a Toyota Corolla away from me. And I fired a gun 2 inches from her head. If I wanted that bitch dead, she would have been dead, especially with laser targeting. I don't know if you guys have ever seen, I don't think I posted it on this, but the first time I ever did target practice, I hit all the fucking major things. We can't take headshots at the range, but I hit lungs, kidney, neck, intestines, stomach. I hit like fucking groupings. If I wanted to kill shot, that bitch would have been dead, especially since she was that close. I fired a shot at her. Do you know what she did? This is how she's fucked up. I don't know what she just went and turned and fucking walk away. Like, bye, Felicia. I'm like, are you kidding me? You almost died tonight. And you just like, oh, I can't be bothered. First of all, who would turn their back on somebody that has a gun at them? I mean, like, I was so rattled that, like, normally when I get home on Sunday, I'm so tired. I just go to bed. I could not sleep until 5 o'clock. I got sick last night. I mean, I should say yesterday. I got physically ill over this whole fucking thing. And I still don't know what she wanted. I don't really care. And I was telling my management tonight, I said, I'm scared to even go back there. I'm like, listen, I have no problem killing somebody if I have to. I said, I just don't want to deal with the fucking paperwork and dealing with the cops and repeating my story over and over and over again. I said, I don't even want to deal with it. I said, I want to fucking throw my papers and I want to go home. That's all I want to do. So, yeah, that was like really fucking scary. Because, I mean, like, the scariest part was she was right there by my fucking window. It's like she appeared out of fucking nowhere. And I'm like, what the fuck? You kidding me? So yeah, it was scary as fucking hell. So that brings me to the other thing that I was talking about gun ownership. Now, I probably should not have gotten out of my car, but this bitch was so crazy. It didn't matter if I was in my car to her. But here's the thing. If I hadn't had that gun, even though she and walked away, if I hadn't had that gun, what would she have fucking tried? What would she have tried? And what was she doing? Making multiple attempts to come after me. So, obviously, I'm a gun owner. I paid a lot of money to be a gun owner. I paid a lot of money for the gun. I paid a lot of money for the classes. I took the classes. I took concealed weapons classes and I got my permit. That was another pack of money. I am for gun ownership. I am not for irresponsible gun ownership. And I don't see a need for military grade rifles on our streets. I don't. And I hear the